ಆಯಿತು, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಓಂ ನಮಾಮಿ ಧನ್ವಂತರಿಂ ಆದಿದೇವಂ ಸುರಾಸುರೈರ್ವಂದಿತಪಾದಪದ್ಮಂ ಲೋಕೆ ಜರಾರುಗ್ಭಯಮೃತ್ಯುನಾಶಂ ಧಾತಾರಮೀಶಂ ವಿವಿಧೌಷಧೀನಾಂ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. Good morning to one and all. Sorry for the delay in starting the session. We had some technical issue and network issues. So now it's all sorted. A warm welcome to all of you to this wonderful orientation program organized by Pramati Ayurveda Dikpatha. Ayurveda Dikpatha, as the name says, we are going to learn about Ayurveda and its value for life. Students who join Ayurveda have a lot of doubts, misconceptions regarding the field. So, to bring clarity in the young aspiring minds, we are here today presenting to you Ayurveda Dikpatha, the route map to Ayurveda learning. It's for the first year BMS students. In the first of its series, today we have with us Dr. Ranjani Deshpande, and mentor, a specialist in the field of Ayurveda surgery, Shalya Tantra. She completed her bachelor degree from Government Ayurveda Medical College, Bengaluru, and she also finished her master's in the field of Shalya Tantra from the same institution. She also holds a yoga instructor course, and she has secured 97% in the same course. To her credentials, she has published 4 papers, and she has presented many lecture series in the YouTube channel Tadvidya Sambhasha regarding Shalya Tantra for both UG and PG students. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Akshita.
So, before we begin, I would request all the students and listeners to have a pen and notebook so that you can note the important points. If you have any questions, the questions will be answered at the end of the session. Also, you can post your questions in the comment section so that we can take up the questions in the end. This will be a question and answer session wherein the mentor will be answering the questions to all of you. Let's begin. So my first question to you, ma'am, is students, I feel I did a mistake, but I'm not sure about my decision of joining Ayurveda. Few seniors say that I have chosen the right path, but few say I am into the wrong path. I have better choices than this. How do I deal with this dilemma?
Okay, thank you, Akshita, for the wonderful introduction. And first of all, before I start this question answer session, I would like to congratulate Pramati Ayurveda, the entire team. So you guys are doing really a great work and inspirational work. So many congratulations to you. Before we start today's session, I would also like to start it with the following shloka. Dhanvantarim Ramanatham सर्वरोगनिवारकम् आयुर्वेदप्रवर्तारं वन्दे पीयूषदायकम् सहस्राक्षं गणाधीशं स्वगुरुं च सरस्वती जनकं जनयित्रीं च शास्त्रादौ प्रणमाम्यहम् योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैदिकेन योपाकरोत्थं प्रवरं मुनीना पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. Okay. So as we have seen that this current orientation session that is being conducted, so this is a partly unique session that we are going to see today, because this is not a general lecture series where a speaker is giving on his or her ideas. So here we'll be dealing today with very many questions that a basic first year BAMS students will be having in their minds as soon as they shift their education from the pre-university level, that is the modern education, to the Ayurvedic education. So as you asked, the first question, the basic question that could be in the minds as you asked Dr. Rakshita. So can you please repeat the question to me? It was something like,
Yes,
I'm not sure of why I
sure.
have chosen the
Correct.
topic. So some
Correct.
seniors give good opinion of the same, and some seniors say, "Why have you joined this course? There is no
Correct.
scope in the course." Okay.
Correct.
So now, before we answer this question, so all of these, if we split up the question, like I have a doubt. I feel so if I have chosen the right course or the wrong course. Some seniors say it might be good. Some seniors say it is the wrong path of your career. What do I do? Now, if we look at the expression of all these questions are doubtful expressions. So once we have a doubtful expression, what is the next thing we do? The next thing we do is we take up steps to clarify our doubts, right? So we have a doubt in our mind. We want to clarify the doubt so that we get to know what is true or what is the, what is wrong, what is true or what is false. So again, here with the basic question itself, all the first year BMS students, they're already into the learning process of Ayurveda, because even in Ayurveda or even in all the Shastras, the Shastra, how we get to know the Shastra is by asking, analyzing, questioning, experimenting, and then we accept that it is a truth. So for this, what is the next thing we have to do? So the truth does not come to us by itself. So we have to approach to it through various ways. So how is that? So it could be by learning about the subject. It could be by interacting to people about the subjects. So even in Ayurveda, as we know, in the basics in the first year, we get to know about so many pramanas, the Pratyaksha Pramana, the Anumana Pramana, and various pramanas, which are the tools for us to know the truth or what is the actual knowledge is or what the actual science is, right? So the same thing would we have to do it even at this level when all these basic doubtful questions pop up to our mind. Now, thinking about joining BMS course, there could be three options. One is a student has opted Ayurveda purely by his own choice because he already knows about the science. The second thing is some many wants a basic degree, a doctor degree, so that they could practice either Ayurveda or they could end up practicing general practice or general medicine, mixopathy, what we say. And the okay, and the third category, what we can see is they have not got a MBBS or the modern degree, because of which they have opted the Ayurvedic science. So these three are the categories what we can see. Now coming talking about the first category, whom they have come to the course by their own choice. It will be some the possibilities could be there could be a lineage in their family. Either they are the sisters, the sibling, or the family members are in Ayurveda, so they already know about Ayurveda. That is why they have come. Many people, why they could have had suffered because of from many diseases for which they could have had got cure only in Ayurveda, so they are inspired by the science and they decide to join Ayurveda. Like for the same, I can quote the example of Dr. Sindhu. She was my colleague at CCRS, so I feel very proud to her when she said it to me that she suffered from severe asthma in her childhood, for which she was undergoing lots of treatment. So during every attack, when she used to undergo the modern medications, she used to take double the time to recover from the the post medication low status of her health than the actual attack of asthma, for which she got a complete cure after going to an Ayurvedic practitioner. So because of which she got completely inspired and she decided that she has to, study Ayurveda and she has to become an Ayurvedic practitioner to give the same goodwill to other people in the society. So this is the possibility. Now the second and third possibility, what we saw is either by chance. The third person is I just want a degree. Now it is a little bit difficult to these two categories that they have to work a little more harder to answer all these doubtful questions, right? So another simple example. Now you take the example of a rose. The rose, it is depicted in many ways with respect to many people. You ask what is the rose to a priest, he will say it is my object of worship. It is that purest thing that I give it to the feet of my Lord. You ask what a rose is to a salesman. He says it is my object of trade. It is something when I give, I get money. You ask another person to a gardener what a rose is. He says rose is that which beautifies my garden. It is a wonderful flower or creation of nature. You ask something to a kid who unexpectedly has pricked by the thorn. What will the kid say? Rose is very bad. I got pricked by the rose. So there is nothing good in the rose. So it depends on what opinion you are asking to a person who has explained that particular thing in his or her own way, right? So one senior or two senior who could have had told you that why did you choose Ayurveda could be taking the role of the kid. Taking, I got something in the chat box. Akshita, please ask all questions. I have more noise at my place. I will not be asking. Yeah, okay. Fine. So somebody who has given you the information from the kid's point of view, you will find Ayurveda as full of thorns, right? So the same to one senior, he could tell it that Ayurveda is nothing but a barren piece or an endless desert. But to an other senior, he could tell that it is the most fertile piece of land. This is why, because he has identified it to be fertile and he knows how to grow his own crop on the fertile land. The only difference is in how much effort we have put. Okay, so based on this, each and every perception changes. So you're not supposed to stop at one opinion where your senior says, "Why did you choose this?" You have to ask 10 more seniors to come to a conclusion on that choice or on that opinion that Ayurveda is not useful. Definitely not. Who knows? 8 other seniors could give you a positive note on how useful and how authentic the science what you have chosen is. So this is my answer to the first question, Akshata.
Yeah, thank you, mom. Thank you so much. So, my second question to you.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Ayurveda learning. Actually, I came here by chance. Please tell me what I have to learn or study as an upcoming Vaidya. What are the different subjects that I have to study for the first year BAMS syllabus?
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So before we answer this question, I would like to quote the shloka again. So all of us are very familiar with this. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnadudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evava Shishyate. So taking the example of a ripple that is created on the water, right? So once there is a ripple, you can see a circle on the surface of the water. That ripple will create another ripple around it, I mean within it, so that the first ripple moves apart, then there goes on, goes on, goes on. So every ripple that is formed is not incomplete. It will remain complete. Again, it is giving rise to another complete ripple within itself, right? So at the end, what happens? The entire ripple, the entire thing is a part of the water itself. So in the same way, Ayurveda is a science which is completely Purna. I would love to say this every time. So, how much ever you take it from the science, it will keep on giving you. So, it depends on your thirst and hunger, how much you want to take from the science. So, no matter how much you take from the repertory of Ayurveda, it will always remain Purna and you can never reach the final dimensions of Ayurveda. It is always irreachable. So, it depends on you how much you want to take and make yourself complete. So once you are adherent to the science, it will make sure that you will become a complete Vaidya, or you will satisfy the hunger of having good knowledge and the hunger of serving the society. So this is one thing what we have to keep in mind. So the next thing what you asked, I think it is that's what I came to Ayurveda by chance. So I don't know how to study Ayurveda, the various subjects of Ayurveda. To make a statement on I came to Ayurveda by chance, no matter you came to Ayurveda by choice or by chance, I have to say if you are a part of Ayurveda, then you are really a blessed soul. Not everybody will get a chance to do the Adhyayana of our own Sanatana Shastra. Mind it. So we have any number of courses, right? So out of everything, why by chance did you end up with Ayurveda? Because you have deep down, because of your karma or the karma pala, you have a connection that you are given a chance to do the reading of your own medical shastra. So now it is up to you whether you doubt on the shastra or you keep on negating about the shastra, or you want to show a little signs of positivity and start accepting it, so that you also become, though you came by chance, one day you can proudly go out and say that though I came to this stream by chance. Now I am very confident, and the best decision I made in my life is to go to Ayurveda, either by choice or by chance. Okay, so that is the thing. The next thing too, how do I study Ayurveda and different subjects of Ayurveda? So in the first level, Akshata, I would want to say one thing, that is, in the initial stages, when your minds are very fresh from a transition from the pre-educational, the modern educational system to a Sanatana Shastra that is converted to a modern education system. So actually, these sciences are not to be supposed to be learned like how it is being taught today, but inevitably they are being forced to convert to fit that pattern. So there is a lot of disturbances that happen. Never would have the students, be introduced to words of Sanskrit if they do not have a Sanskrit background. Basics of Ayurveda, what people learn in first year BM is actually they have to be introduced from the high school level, so that while they come to they cross second PU, they become familiar of at least some of the things. So they get to know what is our own science basically. So the drawback is, neither whether it is medicine, whether it is physics, history, chemistry, whatever it is at the school level, nothing what is originated in India, or nothing what has been conquered in India is being told to children to inspire them. On the contrary, we all learn when the Mughals came, when they came, when the invaders came, they civilized us, they brought an education system in us. So this is how we learn. We always defame our own mother in a process of making the other mothers famous. So this is the process that has been happening throughout. Okay, so because of which, initially for a first year BMS student, we cannot emphasize more on applying logic, or try to understand more and apply this thing in practicality. That is not possible, because the Shastra itself is not clear to the first year BMS student. So I would suggest that for a first year BMS student, the prime duty is first to believe that you are absolutely in the right path. The second thing is, no matter what you are taught, kindly put your efforts to learn it, kindly put your efforts to imbibe it in yourself, so that this piece of education, what you learn in your first phase, then you will be in an ability to apply it or logically look at it in your further duration of the study. So even in Sushruta Samhita, Vedotpati Adhyaya, while he is concluding, Acharya Sushruta says, he gives one word patedhi. So that patedhi, that one word has many meanings. So how you have to learn is, it involves four. One is patha, one is arthagnana, then sadrusha karma, karma sadrusha, and next is abhyasa. So in first year BMS level, we can do first two things only. You cannot go into even at some stages, sadrusha karma is also possible, but karma abhyasa is only possible when you are confident with the other three things. So first thing what I would like to suggest is, whatever is the patha done, so first try to learn it, first try to imbibe the knowledge what it is, in it. So first time when you read a shloka, you might just feel it is a bunch of letters. Next, the second or third reading, one word could hit your mind. In the fourth reading, you will want to analyze, some meaning will come up to your brain. So when you're doing repeated readings of the same, I am sure that you will start analyzing the Shastra. So there are good teachers, there are good institutions where they're trying to imbibe you to or introduce you to this new science. So how to read Ayurveda at this level is to only dedicate yourself. So, and only to trust yourself, and be respect your science, and that itself will take up, or it will take the rocket forward. So I can just say that it is said, ayuhu kamayamanena dharmartha sukha sadhanam. Okay, Ayurveda upadesheshu videyaha paramadaraha. So that videyate is required for you to have dharma artha sukha sadhana. All that will follow if you are videya. So in the initial stages, if you are doubtful, in the initial stages, if you say, what, there is nothing in this, it is not a medical science at all, I am just reading it for a degree, then definitely your dharma artha sukha will be in pertaining to the vidayata you have shown. So it is a direct proportional equation. How much you show, that much Shastra will give it to you. So just like dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, same way, how much you owe to the Shastra, that much Shastra will protect you in your future days. So this is what I want to say.
Thank you, Ka. Thank you so much. So, we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Since high school education, we are not taught these subjects like Padartha Vijnana, Itihasa, Ashtanga Hridaya, and those strange terms that Ayurveda use. Are they really scientific? Because all we know about science is anatomy, pathology, physiology, the drugs, atoms, chemicals, matter, etc. So, what is your perception of Ayurveda as science of medicine?
Oh, fine. So, as I already told you, the high school education, which is being shown to us as real, but most of it is, um, it can be said not in this platform, but it could be for political gain, no matter how it comes out. So that's how the true history is being hidden, and whatever is needed is only put out because young minds are those that catches things, and if you put something in minds from their younger age, that is what will remain even if the child grows into an adult and then into old age. So the same ideology will spread across. The wrong ideology will spread across. One thing I want to say is, if you look back to the history of Indian education in the ancient days, when the Westerners did not even know how to live, I usually say they did not even know how to cook. They were eating raw flesh. They did not know any civilizations. India was something that has civilized into material culture. So material culture is that comes after the basic culture. That is, you have the highest of knowledge. Once that is fulfilled, then you give your thought on art form, making handicrafts, or different forms of arts and stuff, where it becomes a material culture. So when the Westerners did not even know what ABCD is, we had established universities in our Bharat. When Westerners did not even know how to eat a raw flesh, we had Sudha Shastra in our own science. We had texts on how to cook, what should be mixed, what should not be mixed. So this was the level of science, completeness of science, what we had in our nation, which was clearly broken, and the wrong aspect of it was introduced. So in olden days, if you look into the autobiographies of various Chinese, travelers, educational travelers like Hin Sing, Huan Sang, okay, Yi Jing, all of them, they have written in their books that from China, they had to travel across the ranges, across the mountains to reach India, and their only aim of life was to have their education in India. So that was the ultimate aim of their life. In their autobiography, they write they had almost faced death in the process of traveling from China to India. And not only that, before they came to India, you have to make yourself capable, right? Now, you want to get into IIT, you need to first crack the IIT entrance. So, in order to come to India, though they had traveled to Indonesia to make themselves perfect with Sanskritam. So, after that, they came to India, and their only final aim of life was to learn or get knowledge in India. So, this was the heritage, educational heritage, what our India had that none of the countries ever had. Okay, so this has to be known, and Ayurveda is nothing but a part of the same educational system. Okay, either the Nalanda or the Takshashila, everyone. So you might be knowing, right, why Nalanda was burnt, because Ayurveda Vaidya from Nalanda, he cured a skin disease of the Mughal emperor, by which he got enraged that how did this guy cure my disease that none of my court physicians could do. What knowledge he has that doesn't have, that my physician do not have. This knowledge should not pass to anybody else. So that is why what he did, he couldn't identify the knowledge, he just set up the Nalanda to fire. So this was the very simple reason why Nalanda burned for 3 months. So that was the repertory of knowledge what we had. Okay, so even here now, transition from high school education to this, that is why I'm giving you this history to say that the land which gave knowledge to everybody, where people from outside the countries took, put their life to risk, come to study the sciences. Currently what is happening, in a few days it will become like we have to travel to USA or we have to travel to Washington to learn Ayurveda. That will become the scenario if the people of Indian nation do not become proud of their own science, right? So that will be the scenario. So definitely when you're a part of the modern education system, this will be Greek and Latin to you. Somebody who has taken Sanskrit will at least get to know certain terminologies. Somebody who has a background in their home, Vedic background in their home, it will be easy for them. And for somebody whose mother tongue is Kannada, at least few words will catch their brain, because most of the, Kannada in its local language has retained certain Sanskrit terms in its original form. But to others, it will definitely be a problem that everything will sound definitely like a German language that nothing will know. Why? Because we have just entered from a modern educational system to a classical education system without doing any homework, or we cannot blame ourselves because the system itself is like that, right? So definitely you will feel whether Agni, Dhatu, Dosha, Ama. Where is Ama? Show me Ama. Can you see Ama under a microscope? You go and ask. So what in the initial stages, you have a relative who is a modern practitioner. You go and say, I learned what is Ama today. So what response can you get from him? So he'll say, show me it under a microscope, or show me where is Ama. So does that mean there is no Ama in the body? Definitely, right? So something which the modern practitioners give up, where there is a Sama Avastha, we Ayurveda practitioner, confidently conquer it and show it to, try to treat it. So definitely in the first year, it will be Greek and Latin, as I said. The only thing here to strive is patience and perseverance, as I answered in the previous question. So first initial 6 months to 1 year is completely dedication and vidheyate. That is, respect your science and be trust your science. That itself is the first mantra what you have to do to be and to live Ayurveda. That itself will take forward. Okay. So definitely, as when the classes continue, like Sharira Rachana, I think in first year you have the Padartha, the Itihasa, then Sharira Rachana and Kriya, along with this Samhita, right? So definitely, I know teachers will be striving very hard to make you understand every time they go through a different shloka from Ashtanga Hridaya, or it is a really a hard task to make people understand the Sharira Kriya from our aspect. But when you're learning everything, just keep in mind that respiratory process or respiration, digestion is not something that started, developing in human system only because the Westerners, identified it. It all prevailed way back. They identified it, right? So if it was already happening, and there were so many things, advancement in our science, like the yoga paddhati, on the manas, on all aspects of medicine, then definitely that has to be true. And do not, pose yourself to a situation where anything that comes to your purview of pratyakshata only is true. There are many things that you cannot perceive. Just because the human brain cannot perceive, it doesn't mean that a subject or something is false, right? It is our incapability of looking into it. So this is my only request, that trust in the science. It's 100% guarantee that you have opted the best medical science, that you will be very proud to be in near 10 years or in near 15 years. But to reach that height of the mountain, you have to be very patientful enough to climb the footsteps of the mountain. Otherwise, you will fall down to gravity. So, the entire process of not falling off is in how much grip you have over the mountain.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you so much for showing us how Ayurveda is more important, and bringing in confidence in the students. We'll move on to our next question.
Yeah.
So we study all these subjects in first BAMS. What is the use of philosophy for a doctor? How are they related for practicing a medicine or a medical science?
Okay, so this is with respect to Padartha Vignana in proper, which is almost the most irritative subject to almost all the students in first year, right? So Padartha Vignana is something that deals with various darshanas, various pramanas, karana dravyas, karya dravyas, and so many other things, um, which goes to the brain. But it is, at initial stages, it is very difficult for you to associate it practically, right? Why Indian philosophy, or why do we have to study Shaddarshana to study Ayurveda, or a medical science? So this medical science, in the first place, Ayurveda is not a medical science that just restricts itself to the physical body. Okay, so why Indian philosophy? In the older Indian shastras, any shastra you take it up, they were all those people who were they studied, they were called as jignas, or the knowledge seekers. Okay, so they are not studying something for in a doubtful way or just for the sake of it. They really seek the knowledge. So that seeking is very important. So if you have to do that, why the darshanas? So the education system or how the Shastra Adhyayana was done previously was so rich that not any aspect of it was gone unquestioned or unattended. So if you take something like, for example, you hosting a session, orientation session today, so that will be concluded, or this knowledge will be concluded only by analyzing and questioning it through various forms. So we'll be asking, right, why are we doing it? What is the use of doing it? At what time are we doing it? How are we doing it? So if we do, what is the use out of it? So that is how all the shastras were done. And as they say, the Veda Gnana or the other Gnana, they are so liberal that it gives you the freedom of thinking and gives you the freedom of questioning. They have answers within themselves, but that you can find only when you generate this process. So this will give a very good brain work, okay, and it will increase the capacity and learning aptitude of your brain, that you get to know a shastra from its 360 degrees and not just because it is there on a piece of paper or it is printed or it is translated in one sense. So basically, it was like Shed Darshanas. These are darshanas which give you how to understand yourself and how to understand yourself in the purview of nature, right? So any Shastra you take in the Indian Shastras or the Bharata Shastras, there is no one Shastra that will do harm to the Prakriti or the surrounding that the person is living. So it is even Ayurveda or even all the Shastra is Sarva Bhuta Hitaishinaha. So even in Ayurveda, Charakacharya says how a Vaidya should practice Ayurveda, that he should think in mind all. It is not the existence of your own self, it is the existence of lack of other living beings around you. So comprising all, you practice one Shastras. So to understand the relation between yourself and the Prakriti, you had all these darshanas that came up and they gave you the knowledge. How do you know about yourself? How do you know how this universe came? How do you know this God originated? What is Pancha Mahabhuta? What is Prithvi? Why is Prithvi hard? So we say Prithvi is Guna is Khatimya. Jala Mahabhuta, it has Saraguna Madhura Rasa. Why is it so? So it is so when the statement is made, these are called as Siddhanta, these are called as Pramanas, which will never contradict itself. It will be true 1,000 years ago, it will be true today, it will be true even 1,000 years later. Why? Because these are Pramanas or the matter that is about our own existence or our own prakriti, which will never contradict itself. Okay. So since Ayurveda Shastra is also part of this Vaidika Shastra itself, that is why you need to know all the Shad Darshanas. That is why you need to know all the Pramanas and everything. Now, what does the Pramana say? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Agama, or the Shabda Pramana, all of this. So right now, as I said, you need to analyze what is Pratyaksha Pramana, what is Anumana Pramana. If you know what is each of them in this current stage, then finally when you're moving forward through your internship or when you get into practice, you can start applying all of this. Like take for example, a patient comes to you who is about 65 years of age, okay, and when he says that he has Krichra Mala Pravartana, that it is very difficult for him to do the Mala Pravartana, okay. And what when you ask Prashna, okay, so you take one of the Darshana Bhaga, you say, I mean the Pariksha Bhava, and then you ask Prashna, so what are you doing? What are you eating? When are you sleeping? Okay, so what were you working? So suppose that man says, I used to be a heavy load carrier in previous times. I used to stay awake in the night. I eat only ruksha ahara, okay, without any snehamsha. Then these are all what you get to see. Okay, then you look pratyakshagi, you look into the person, you can see a lot of parushata and rukshata over his skin. Okay, so now you got one gnana through pratyaksha, one gnana through prashna. Okay, and now you're applying anumana. What anumana? Because he is doing all the ahara vihara paddhati, that is increasing vata dosha. His age is also in pertaining to the vata pradhana kala avastha. Okay, because of which there is vata vriddhi in his body, because of which there is dearranged agni, because of which he has krishna mala pravartana. So all of this you are able to link, right? So again, now you have to use your yukti. So what is your ultimate aim? To ease the mala pravartana. So for that, if you give any ruksha vatahara dravyas, what happens? It will again, though it is vatahara, though it is anulomaka, if you give a ruksha dravya to the pertaining situation, it will not be so helpful, right? So there comes the application of yukti. You have to go for a snigdha anulomaka, which will help the all the conditions. So to analyze this in every step, if you don't know how to, if you do not have a background of all this padartha vijnana, or how do you apply the pramana, how do you analyze the darshanas, how do you karana dravyas, karya dravyas. See here, what were the karana dravyas? His vihara, his ruksha ahara sevana, ratri jagarana. What was the karya? There was tvakparukshata, ruksha, malapravartana, all of this. See, this is why it is needed that all of these are basics of the science. As I said, it is not something that is, restricted only to the pratyaksha. So Ayurveda is that helps you to see beyond pratyaksha. So keep that in mind. So that is the only science. If you have to become capable of doing that, you should know the basics of all of this. So that is why you have Padartha Vijnana, and it is not to irritate you, or it is not to make you, afraid so that you want to leave the course and run away. Okay. So if it has been included, then there is definitely a cause for it, and the reason behind is this. So one thing is, if you see the achievers in any field, may it be modern psychology, may it be modern physics or anything, look at their, read their biographies or keep looking at the statements they make. They will ultimately relate themselves to Indian philosophy. Okay, the famous psychologist, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, I only remember this just, he relates himself that the Bhagavad Gita is the best psychological book that can be available to the world. Okay, what he read everything modern, right? At the ultimatum, what did he relate to? He related himself to the Indian philosophy. So Indian philosophy is that can answer any question you have, no matter what field it is. It has answers. The only thing, as I said, is you have to try and you have to search. Then you will really get answers to all. So you consider yourself lucky that you are not reading Indian philosophy at the zenith end of your practice. You are starting it with the Indian philosophy. So your root is strong, your initiation is strong, and your experience becomes more and more strong. So consider yourself lucky to being studying this Padartha Vijnana.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for explaining the fundamentals and the basics of Ayurveda and their significance on the students. So I'll take up the next question.
Yeah.
Every relative of mine says, "Oh, why did you choose Ayurveda? It's not a medical science at all. It's a pseudo-scientific or a placebo or a something that is relatable to witchcraft or a mumbo jumbo." I feel really embarrassed with such questions. What's your opinion?
Okay. Uh, so this even I have experienced truly. So I can relate to all these questions because today we are able to pick up these questions or answer these questions because we have been a part, or we have experienced all of these questions personally. Okay, and first of all, what your relatives ask, or when they mock at you, your friends mock at you, instead of calling a relative, I would like to call it as bandhu. Okay, so who a bandhu is? Okay, so badnati manah snehadina bandhu. So first of all, I want to redefine the definition of this relative or bandhu. So keep in mind who are these, who does this definition, and you will have to answer your whole and soul to these kinds of bandhu, and not to those who deliberately want to mock at you or deliberately want to show lower your
Target.
self confidence. So to them there is no need to answer. So but for definitely this will be with respect to the current era where everybody is running behind softwares and hardwares, and where everybody wants to make money. Ayurveda is one phase. Until and unless you really work hard, you will not get money. So this is one thing. So you will not get easy money, like how they generate softwares that is neither seen. I don't there's so many softwares being done from so many years, but even now every software engineer who is efficient is paid in lakhs. But you repair an entire human system, which is so difficult, that is just right in front of your eyes. if you ask for a 100 rupee consultation, the patient will look at you, you're asking 100 rupees. So that is the scenario. So definitely all the relatives will be concerned about your choice of, choosing this Ayurveda Shastra. But again, I just want to say what is that when they ask, now that even you had so many doubts, right? So by the end of the session or by the end of your first year learning, you will gain at least some knowledge about what Ayurveda is, right? So even to them, as a layman, they'll be thinking what Ayurveda is. There is nothing, it is not scientific. It is just a traditional practice. So there'll be many misconceptions like that in all their minds. So they will want to ask you, if they're asking with a concern, then you also reply with a confidential concern. Okay, if they're asking at you to just mock you or reduce your, demotivate you,
Self-confidence.
okay, then there is no need to prove yourself over and over again to such people. Why? Because they are targeting your mental factor and they're not targeting your, it is not because of the concern. Okay, so in that cases what happens, they know that you're in the initial phase, they know that even they don't know Ayurveda, even you don't know Ayurveda. They know some layman part of Ayurveda because they're elder to you, right? They have had some experiences. They would have had read some article. They would have had seen some YouTube video, because of which they are, it is not the actual knowledge of Ayurveda, but they know something, some knowledge on Ayurveda, which even you don't have. You don't have even that also. So that is why they try to mock you, or they would want to ask you. Okay, so I really hope that by the end of this session, or by the end of all these orientational sessions, that is happening online or would have already happened in your college, I hope that you guys gain at least some confidence to answer back to them that it is not something that you're studying that has to be very panicked about. Okay, so that is the thing. So I had my own relatives who had, really had so many doubts. What an Ayurveda physician can do, what do they know about anatomy, what do they know where the intestine is, what do they know where the liver is, where will their tablets go. So all such questions will come. So as I told you, if there is a concern associated, you need to answer back. If it is not there, take your time. If you have gathered the courage through these sessions or something, now at least you're starting feeling a little confident, kindly answer them back that kindly do not mock the science without without having the knowledge about the science. Kindly speak about anything only when you possess the knowledge about something. I might be at the scale 0 today, but I am confident enough to reach scale 10 after 5 years. If you yourself be confident, show such a level of confidence, then no person will dare enough to come to you and mock at you or demotivate you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll, without wasting any time, I'll just take up the next question. Um, so I feel, numb when somebody tease me that I have joined a leaves, roots, or a powder. So ele, suna, that kind of a science. And they have tagged herbalism to Ayurveda. Is it true, or how do we take it up?
Okay, so this is a general myth actually, that Ayurveda is everything, nothing but, it is something to do with leaves and it is something to do with the roots. So that is what is the general myth in everybody's mind. Okay, so even many of my friends themselves have also referred to the same. Okay, but through this, what I will want to ask all of you is that now, once you have an answer to this question, every next person who asks you this, kindly feel free, kindly feel confident yourself to explain the same thing to them, so that you're at least breaking off the myth through at least one individual. So if you can, break the myths about Ayurveda to at least 5 people near you, that 5 might get converted to 10 in your future. It might or it might not. That we are not bothered with. At least one person as an individual is being able to show it to either 2 people, at least 2 people outside there, of what my Ayurveda is. Now, definitely, Ayurveda uses a lot of kasht aushadis, right? But Ayurveda, according to many people, they do not know anything what is there in Ayurveda. Okay, they don't know that as Ayurvedic Vaidyas, we know Sharira Rachana, that is anatomy. We know the physiology, that is the Sharira Kriya. They don't know that we have a research methodology in Ayurveda. How to do a research is also told in Ayurveda. So they don't know that what we are doing today is a Siddhanta. Siddhanta is, tested experiments which leads you to a an outcome that is tested completely. Okay, so they don't know that what we follow is a siddhanta. Okay, according to all of them, they only think that anything that is studied under a laboratory, anything that is put on a paper, anything that is published like that is only authentic. Anything that is not studied under a microscopic eye is not authentic at all. So their question will be, where was microscope in olden days? Where was microscope, these micro instruments for you to analyze your medications, for you to say that if I take so and so medicine, it will target this organ, it will function on this organ. So I don't feel any scientificness in your science or in your practice. So all such questions will come. So what they think, maybe they know that this herb will help this condition, this X and Y Z root will help in this. So it has been done by our great grandfathers, our fathers, and that is why they just know it. They're not doing it any scientifically. Is what the answer it is. Many patients come and ask, many friends ask, is there treatment for skin disorders in Ayurveda? Is there treatment for pregnant ladies to maintain a good health in Ayurveda? Is there treatment for throat disorders? Is there treatment for respiratory disorders? Is there treatment for headache? So all these small questions, what does they show it was that the outer society is completely numb about the knowledge what is there in Ayurveda. Okay, so for that, one simple thing what you can tell to people like that is, if our science was wrong, if our science was not rooted, you can just say this example. I always like to say this example everywhere. So suppose a Deepana Pachana Dravya, take like for example Chitrakadivati. So thousands of years ago, if an Acharya gave, it did Deepana Pachana, and the patient would have wanted to have something. It would have increased his appetite and hunger. Even if I give today, after 1,000 years, if I give three Chitrakadivati to somebody, it will increase his appetite, and even today he will say, "Give me something I want to eat." Even after 100 years, if I give that, it will do the same function. So think of the deep-rooted action, deep-rooted research, and deep-rooted. If there was no research, no matter there was no need of microscope, because these are all not shastras that is man-made. Keep that in mind. Okay. Do not we there is no need to compare ourselves to the great sadhus. There is no need to compare ourselves to Charakacharya and Sushritacharya. They are way beyond. We can never reach them. They had the Gnana Chakshu, which we can never have. Okay. So just because we do not have, we cannot contradict that. What is Gnana Chakshu? They did not have anything. They had that much of sadhana to imbibe the complete knowledge. So just by looking at the dravya, they could analyze. Otherwise, why would they give up to the level of vipaka? So vipaka is something that happens after the process of digestion, right? If they could not analyze the constituents inside a kashta aushadhi, how could somebody say this will increase vata, this will increase pitta or kapha? So there is complete analysis, and there is a complete output of whatever is being analyzed. So a simple we could just say that quote a medicine that is researched. For example, a simple medicine like ranitidine or something which was even safest for pregnant ladies is now considered to be toxic. Now, what happened to all those pregnant ladies, on all those humans who consumed it for decades and decades, right? So it is not something that today it is so and so, and day after tomorrow it will change. That is not our shastra. That is not something it will not contradict itself. Okay, I am not saying, like there is also another myth that there cannot be side effects with Ayurveda, which is very, very wrong. Our Acharya itself has said that if you don't know how to use a dravya, it can be amrita or it can be visha, right? So that again goes on your yukti and how the amount of knowledge you have gained to use the same dravya to put it as an amrita to the patient. Okay, so if it causes a side effect, it is because of your incapability to, maybe, or mistakes do happen. It is because of our mistakes that we have not analyzed or we have not studied, and it is not because of the dravya. So any dravya or any herbal medicine, whatever is told or whatever is the practice of aushadhi in our classics, it is not just a traditional practice. It is out of complete, experimentation that they have given so many falashrutis. So something that cannot stand for 5 to 10 years cannot talk on a science that has stood for 3,000 years, right? So this one simple um, statement could help you answer all your friends who mock at you for this reason. So make them understand that it is not just herbs that is dealt with. Make them first understand that we want to make our patients or we want to make the people be healthy. Suppose in case they get a disease, only then we want to treat. It is not a business mode here. It is more and more the swasthya rakshana that is the focus of Ayurveda. So make them clear about that. So that is why when you're going through the courses of BAMS, it is then you will start picking up all of this throughout the journey.
Sure. Thank you so much. Now that we have learned so much about Ayurveda, what are other astonishing facts that Ayurveda has? We are very eager to listen to them. Is what the US are opining. Could you please tell us, Akka?
Okay, so you want the astonishing facts of Ayurveda. Okay. First would be Ayurveda itself is astonishing. So it's like a deep, it's like a huge sea, deep sea. The more and more you dive inside, okay, the more and more gems you get outside. So that is how the science is. Okay. So as I answered in the previous question, Ayurveda is a science that is completely complete. So this is what we have to look for. It has not left any part of it to be called as an incomplete science. Okay. So as I told you, there is anatomy, there is physiology. You should be knowing that you will get dissection classes in your first year. You also have to know that the first person to conduct dissection was Acharya Sushruta. Okay, so he knew how to select a dead body, how to preserve a dead body. He cut open the body. He gave all the numbers of the anatomy of the body. How many veins are there? How many vasculature? About the neurobundles. Okay, about the bones. Uh, and you have to be surprised to even see that there is even the mentioning of the membranes also. So membranes are such tiny structures inside the body anatomy that it is very difficult for you to define and describe membranous structures in the body without using sophisticated physiological instruments. Okay, they have also told about there is physiology in Ayurveda. They have dealt extensively with all aspects of physiology. You know how the circulation happens, how the respiration happens. Okay, and with respect to anatomy, if you have to take like one wow factor or one astonishing factor to say is now as you move forward, when you read about the nephron, right, which is the unit of the kidney. So in the nephron, there are many vascular bundles. You have the arcuate artery, you have the arterioles, okay, you have the interseptal veins, interseptal artery, all of that. Okay, now go move when you have time. Once you read through the anatomy of the nephron, then go back to read the anatomy of the the Mutra Kosha, what Acharya has told in the Nidhana Sthana while he is explaining Ashmari. You get to see each and everything explained in, as in, you can draw parallels between both of them. So where, nephron itself is a tiny structure that is not visible to naked eye, then think of the vasculature that is giving, that is supplying to the nephron. That is also there in that shloka. Now, again, I am telling the first time you read, nothing you'll understand. The second time you read, nothing you'll understand. When you keep on reading, when you know this and when you know this, then you can directly draw parallels. So, this is one wow astonishing factor that you have in your own samhitas, documentations of such micro anatomy of the human body. Okay, so this is one thing. And moving further, so what has Ayurveda left? It has not left anything. So it has anatomy, physiology, it has pediatrics, it has embryology, it has orthopedics, it has surgery, it has ENT. Okay, it has ophthalmology, it has epidemiology, it has toxicology, it has, pharmacology. Anything you take is being told in Ayurveda. Okay, so all of this, it is very difficult to tell each and everything of it in the in a short span. So with the, when you look at the science with a view of digging out the the gems or the diamonds, then you will really start doing it. If you just want to swim inside and come out, you will not be able to pick up a gem. So that again is in our hands. Okay, so what, how much gems you want to collect, that thirst of collecting the gems is within you. So you have to put your strength and effort to deep more and more, to swim more and more to come to it. So other astonishing factors, you would have had heard about Acharya Sushruta about surgery. So he's the first person to do a cataract surgery. So when you study the anatomy of the eye, you will get to know where the lens is. It is deep inside a tiny structure. So Acharya Sushruta is that who has given the landmarks, how to access that lens and how to change it. So he successfully operated cataract surgery. The same guidelines are used even today. The other astonishing factor is plastic surgery. Okay, an extensive explanation of plastic surgery is told. Okay, one simple thing, it might be a little difficult to understand. I'll try to make you guys understand. So in plastic surgery, there is flap surgeries. Okay, where you remove the flap from one place and you put it onto another place. Like now, for example, so suppose here there is a injury. Okay, there is, the tissue is being lost in this place. Okay, it is lost in this place. Now you have to, am I visible, Akshata? Am I audible,
You can
Akshata?
Yes, you're audible, Akka. You can continue.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it got cut at this place. So suppose now this part is injured, the tissue is lost, and you want to replace this part with something. So what the flap surgery, what they do is they remove the tissue from somewhere else, from the nearby surrounding, and they cover it. Okay, so that what happens, a fresh wound is created on the place from where you took the tissue and put it. So that will heal itself. So there is skin here also, there is skin here also. Okay, so that is where you remove the flaps and put. In flap surgery, there is something called as island flapping. Okay, what is island flapping in modern plastic surgeries? Now, suppose I cut. Okay, now I have cut my piece of paper like this. Okay, see, there is a small portion down here, right? So
Correct.
this is my flap. In island flapping, what they do, this is like the small piece what I have left as a stock here, that will have a vasculature, that will have a running nutrient artery within it. Okay, so what I do, I cut a layer here, okay, along with the artery, and I put this flap downwards to cover the portion where there was a problem.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens here? There is a nutrient artery that is within this pedicle, so it will be supplying. You're not cutting off the artery here. You know how complex procedure this is to do? This is also told, the exact methodology is told in Ayurveda, in plastic surgery, in the chapter of Karnasandhana, where he takes a flap from the Ganda Bhaga to do the Karnasandhana. So that is the extent. So if you do you think that if Acharya Sushruta did not have the knowledge of this microvasculature, he would have had told such a procedure, and he would have had documented such a procedure and practiced such a procedure? So to all people out there who says that Ayurveda is unscientific, Ayurveda is, the methodologies in Ayurveda has come as a part of tradition. They do not know nothing about the science, nothing about the body. This is the best answer you can give, that you have documentation of microvasculature, you have documentation of the chromosomal number. What more do you want when all this physics was absent? So whatever is the advancement you can see in modern medicine today, it is because the physics has joined the medicine, right? If the sphygmomanometer is what? It is pure physics, because of which you are able to measure the blood pressure. So there are many aspects of which our acharyas has given to us completely in a complete nutshell, that they are making it easy for us to understand and imbibe to us. Okay, so always these are very minute, astonishing factors that I want to quote. There is also, when in the practice of trauma, how you have to treat trauma, Acharya, then also there are various methods of treatment of fractures. There is various methods of amputations, how you have to ampute, you know, at what stage you are not supposed to ampute. There are so many things that is there in Ayurveda. So, as a common man outside, they will not be knowing anything of it. And for them, as you said earlier, it will be only a science of herbs or a science of roots. Okay, which you, as Ayurvedic students who have stepped in now in the first year BMS, I would want you all to kindly dedicate yourself completely to the science. Feel yourself very, very lucky to being having studying the science, and this is how you need to imbibe the knowledge yourself. And when you come out of it, I at least then we are in a position to tell these all these facts to another 10 people out there. So we need not address a huge gathering like 1,000 people or 10,000 people. There is no point in it. Maybe only five are listening in that huge gang. Even if you're talking to either five or two or three, make an impact to them that your science is the best medical science, and you're a part of the science, a complete medical science, and you're proud to be a Ayurveda Vaidya. So this is what I want to answer for your last question, Akshata.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you so much for explaining the elaborate description of Karana Sandhana, and making students understand about this. So I would like to
Yeah,
ask
I
another
also
question.
forgot to mention about embryology. See, there was no USG,
Right,
right, way back. But
right,
don't you get
right,
descriptions of the development of the garbha? How did they do it?
right,
So now you cannot contradict on the chakshu, dana chakshu of the acharyas, right? Just because we do
correct,
not have it, we do not have that power. We do not have so much of siddhi. What are we doing? We are, in a 24 hours day, almost 20 hours we are spending enjoying, and maybe in 4 hours, 2 hours, maybe we are thinking of Ayurveda. Where is this siddhi and where is that siddhi, where they put their whole and soul into Ayurveda? So we can never compare ourselves to them. Just as I said, I want to make this statement clear. Just because a human brain cannot perceive it, it doesn't make that it is false. Okay, so this one thing we have to keep in mind.
correct. So thank you so much. I'll go on to the next question. What is the one main difference between allopathy and Ayurvedic medicine? Uh, can So that we can also confidently tell others who ask me the same question. So, what is that one difference between the science, both the
Okay.
sciences?
So the first thing is, allopathy doesn't see the human body as a part of Pancha Mahabhuta, as I told you again. Um, so the body can absorb and assimilate something. The body is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta. The Prakriti is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta. So your Sharira can take something which is only made up of Pancha Mahabhuta and not a Kritrima Dravya. Okay. So either if you're using a Kritrima Dravya, like what we have seen in our Rasashastra texts, you have to have the ability to process it so much extensively that it is not causing any harm to the body. Okay. On the contrary, when looking at the treatment aspect of the modern medicine, where we are using laboratory made chemicals, so that is where it is not it is not a part of the Panchamahabhuta. You are preparing something artificially using chemicals, so it will definitely precipitate in your body. Okay. And on the contrary, again I'm telling, there are so many people ask, you're using heavy metals, there are metals, rasaushadis and everything. So in the first place, so that is why, what is the falashruti given to the rasaushadis, wherein you need quick action, wherein you need strong action, and it is given in alpamatra, right? So you should have the yukti of how you're using the rasaushadi. So you give it to a patient, and you would have had given it only to 7 days. The patient has taken now it for 3 months. So whose fault it is? So make sure that when you're prescribing, you prescribe the correct matra and correct dosage and correct timing for Asaushadhis, so that you are right on your part. Educate them that these medicines are not to be taken over the counter, and they are not supposed to be taken just for the, to subside the symptoms. So this is the first thing. Now, the second difference between allopathy, so the basic difference is that Ayurveda sees the Sharira as a concept of Panchamahabhuta. The second thing is that in modern medicine, many things are restricted only to Pratyaksha. As I told, Pratyaksha Pramana is the thing that is ultimately restricted at the level of modern science, and they do not go beyond it. Where our science, it goes beyond it. Okay, it goes up to the level of Manus, and it goes up to the level of various koshas, Pancha koshas also. So it to the subtlest sukshma vasta also the our body goes, the Ayurveda goes. So another difference is, you could have had seen that when you start learning a disease, the etiology for every disease, you will have at least out of 100 diseases, 90 disease you will have idiopathic cause, right? They do not know what is the cause, why the disease is happening, while you can draw a parallel why this disease is happening, or you can draw some prapti with the knowledge of Ayurveda. You cannot show it to them the tridoshas through a microscope, right? So that is why they are not able to accept it, because as I said, they limit themselves to the Pratyaksha and not beyond Pratyaksha. So as I told you earlier, according to them, the concept of Agni, the concept of Samyata in the dosha and the Mala, the basic fundamentals of and the Trayopastamba, all of these are very important in the eyes of Ayurveda. Why? Because we look at the well-being. So suppose a person comes to us with some disease, you just do not treat that disease. You make sure that all these aspects that has caused the disease are also set right, so that he do not end up in the same diseased state again, right? This outer circle is not a part of Ayurveda, I mean not a part of modern medicine. Now suppose you go that you have a pain in your knee joint, okay, or you have severe headache, okay, a person goes to a modern doctor that he has headache. What will be the prescription? The prescription will be an analgesic, right? So the person will he takes an analgesic, he is devoid of pain. Why? Because they are stopping the pain pathway, they are curbing the transmission of pain pathways through the prostaglandins. But the modern doctor will not care to ask how your appetite is. Did you pass motions today morning? Okay, what are you eating? The same person, if he goes to an Ayurvedic doctor, what will be our first question? You have headache. Our first question will be, did you pass motions today? Because if there is no Mala Visarjana, if there is no Vatanulomana, in the way, in the Dharaniya Vega Adhyaya, what we have known is when there is no Anulomana, it gives rise to Shirashula. So what is the treatment here? The treatment here is to correct his Agni, correct his Vata, so that there is good Anulomana. So once he passes good motion, his headache will come down. Now, this is the difference between Ayurveda and allopathy. Now, here you have not, in allopathy, you have not corrected the cause why he is getting headache. Suppose now he pops an analgesic, his headaches goes off today, okay? And by hook or crook, he has had some good amount of, Vadhara Dravya, he has taken a little ghee, and because of which the next day he'll have a little, passage of stools, okay? It is not complete, it is incomplete evacuation. But what does that say? It still says that his Agni is not good, okay? And he still has a problem with his bowel movements. So after another 2 days, he will again get headache, right? So why? Because he would have had again, eaten pizza or burger, or very dry only, like chapatis, something which without any sneha amsha. So at the second day, what he'll do again? What is the prescription? The prescription is the same analgesic, right? So the more and more pain you get, the higher and higher is the level of, or the potency of the prescription what you will be getting. But the main problem remains the same. But on the contrary, if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, what happens? His first aim is to correct your Agni. He will educate you. Do not eat dry chapatis. Do not eat chapatis in the night. Do not eat anything that is made out of dough in the night. Do not take curds in the night. Do not overeat outside food. Okay. Suppose you are having heavy food like non-veg food, take good amount of hot water. Eat some ginger, so that you are able to digest the food material, so that ama is not formed. Once the ama is formed, the first thing what happens is Srotoroda happens. So because of which he is not able to evacuate, because of which he has a headache. Okay, so this headache has this long history and long story behind it, which goes unnoticed with usual modern practice, which comes to notice with the Ayurvedic practice. Okay, so if you educate them, if you give a simple, Saindhava and Ardraka to be eaten before food, correct his Agni, and then give him a Vatanulomaka and correct his Patya. He has to be educated why he is getting headache, right? Then he will not do the same, then he will not get the headache because of this etiology, right? So this is the basic difference between Ayurveda and allopathy. That, and there is a very wrong notion that Ayurveda is slow. Why Ayurveda is slow? Ayurveda is not slow. You are slow to coming to Ayurveda. So that is the one thing. So in case of modern doctor, what happens now? Suppose you think the same cycle has continued for 1 month. Okay, by the end of second month, suppose if it is Varsha Rutu, okay, already his Agni is low, and this is happening in Varsha Rutu. What happens to him after 2 months? His headache will not go with a simple paracetamol. He has to take a very higher dosage of analgesic, right? He has to go for NSAIDs. Then what happens after 3 months? None will start, giving him result. Then somebody will say, go to Ayurveda. He'll come to Ayurveda. Now, where is the problem? Ayurveda is here in the first hand. Ayurveda is slow, or you are slow? You are slow to coming to Ayurveda. You had come to Ayurveda in the first place itself. The doctor would have told you you're getting headache because of this. You would have had not had constipations. Your bowel would have been cleared, right? Your appetite would have been cleared, because of which you would have not got headache at all. You have, you have put so many chemicals into your body now. So at each level, at the first level, the Samprapti is here. The second level, it is up to here. Samprapti comes here. He just suppresses it. Okay. Samprapti after 1 week comes here, you suppress it. It comes here, you suppress it. Once it goes to the zenith, now what time it has taken to reach this level of Samprapti, this has to come down to a patient in 1 day. And that is why they say Ayurveda is slow. How can it be possible? So all of this is a major problem in why they say Ayurveda is slow. We have to educate that it is not the problem with us. Sir, ma'am, you are slow. It is not that Ayurveda is slow. So one simple example is, suppose you have a baby, okay, it is sleeping. It starts suddenly crying, okay. When the mother goes and sees, suppose a big red ant is biting the child, okay. Now, what is the treatment here? What you need? For the mother, the child has to stop. So the baby stopping the cry is the treatment what we want. How can we get this treatment? One is two things. If you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, what he'll do, he'll first remove the ant. There is a little redness or inflammation. You apply some grita or something so that the inflammation subsides. So once it subsides, the baby will stop crying on its own. If you want immediate results, I have another trick also. I just close the mouth of the baby. Will you hear the baby crying? The baby has stopped crying, right? So it is your choice how you want to make the baby stop crying. Okay. Now again here, if the mother would have come to Ayurveda immediately, as soon as it is biting, I remove the ant. The pain subsides fast. The ant is biting the baby for half an hour and then you are coming, then it will take 1 hour to subside. The ant is biting for 1 hour and then you are coming, it will take 2 hours to subside, right? So it is a problem inside. Okay, it is a natural process. So you cannot find shortcuts in halting all this process. So in an advent of finding shortcuts to stop these processes itself, why we are doing so many harms. That is why we are ending up with antibiotic resistances. That is why we are ending up wherein no amount of medicines is working on the human body, because you are disrupting this natural process. So this is the major difference between Ayurveda and allopathy. I want all of you to, whoever asks you, whether it is your relative or anybody, you can pick up such simple examples to explain it to them. So only when you explain it with simple examples, they'll know. We do not want big statements. We do not want paper publications to prove this. Okay, so with that, this is the basic difference.
Very nice, very well elaborated, Akka. Thank you so much. So I would like to ask one last question to you. What was your experience when you came to Ayurveda? During the first year and during the course, what was your experiences, and how did you find it interesting so that the students can adapt the same methods if it's possible?
Okay, so as I was answering in the first session, so I came to Ayurveda by my own choice because my great grandfather was court physician for the warriors. Maybe his gene or his blessings were there. There were no other doctors in the family. All were engineers. Out of nowhere, I was actually interested in architecture. So out of nowhere, one day I found I just felt I have to join Ayurveda. I just gave away the seat and I came and I joined Ayurveda. So that was how I came into Ayurveda. And since the first day, and it was not difficult for me, I had not studied Sanskrit, but with a vast amount of Vedic background in my house, it was not very difficult to get adapted to the new literature. We had wonderful teachers in our colleges, like Ahalya ma'am, Mamta Murthy ma'am, very many, teachers who actually helped us who helped us, or they inspired us that to remove or to ward away our confusion. So it is not that we did not have confusions, definitely we had, but their teachings and their words, it helped us make the path a little easier to move and a little clearer to move. So in the first year, as I told you, it is very difficult for you to put it anything into practice. So since the syllabus is also structured in the same way, in olden days it used to be forest education, wherein you learn something until and unless you are well versed in that, you are not taught the next science. But here it is not so. You study or not, you end up with an examination. You fail or not, you have a backup. You are posted to the next thing. So this has become like the inevitable part of the educational system, because of which it keeps running very fastly. Another very important name I want to take in this session, who actually at the end stage of final year or during my internship, who helped me analyze or increase my love towards Ayurveda is Dr. Lalita ma'am and Dr. Gurunath sir of Ananya Ayurveda. So they used to come from Hassan to Bangalore on weekends. They used to give us breakfast also, and they used to teach us Ayurveda. So their aim was at least 10 people should know, or they should start loving Ayurveda, and they should know what actual Ayurveda is. So they helped me a lot. So all my teachers throughout the journey, everybody, all my seniors, many of my seniors, my relatives, my brother, everybody, they have helped me a lot in increasing the love towards the science, as days passed through. So at the end, when you sit as a practitioner and when you start applying what you have studied and when you start seeing that in the patient, so that is the best happiness what you get. And it is then when you start exploring the application part of Ayurveda. So until then, so that is why I said, if we are not dedicated when we are learning, if we are doubtful, then this application also becomes doubtful. So even while giving something to the patient, we are in a doubt that am I giving the right thing? Am I giving the wrong thing? So suppose you are a little, confident. Not that this doubt is not there when you are practicing. It will definitely arise, because not every case you have seen for the second time or the third time. Many cases are such that you're seeing for the first time. But as I said, it is the application of all these pramanas what we have learned. Why, if the symptom has there, why the symptom has come? If the symptom has come, then at which time it aggravates? Or what is the food habits or what? So you need to take a lot of as it is showed in the Pariksha Bhavas. Every time you keep interacting with you and new patients, your confidence and also the happiness keeps on multiplying. So that's my journey.
Thank you, Akka. So one last question that popped up in my mind now. You being a topper, did you have any study hours? Because the subject was new, as you told us. So during the first year, to just fall in love with the subject, did you have study hours daily, or how was it? How was it going? How did you?
One thing is that I want to suggest is for people who find it difficult to read the actual book, because in first year who do not know Sanskrit, to read the Moola Grantha, it is a little difficult. But usually people have this tendency of taking the English translation. So I kindly suggest that at least go for a Hindi translation, the Vidyodhini Tika, which is much more better than the English translation. So English translation, you have translations like when the wind enters the intestine. So it is for Pakvashayagata Vata. So when there is Vata in the Pakvashaya. So that is how they want to say when there is wind inside the intestine. So it sounds very, very, what we can say, very easily coined or very easily translated terminologies, which do not gives us the depth of the, what the shloka is trying to tell us. So initially, when there is a difficulty, when people are, a little, who have affinity to Hindi language, who can understand Hindi language, they can take Hindi Vidyodhini Tika far better than the English books that you can read through. So once you move forward through the second and final year, definitely in the journey you can start having the reading through the Moola Granthas. So actually there was no definite study hours or something like that, but there used to be a stipulated amount of quality time that used to be dedicated. So one thing what I have to say is, no matter whether it is a small assignment, no matter whether it is a simple internal assessment for 20 marks, whatever it is given to you, try to do it with the full potential what you have. So many a times, things what you don't read for an examination, but what you have done previously because of these assignments come up as a question, and you're able to answer it because of the work you have done on it previously. So that is why everything we do, it has its own fruits. So no matter whether it is, when during the classes, many times the teacher asks you to do a seminar on any topic, or so that keeps coming, right? Once you move to the second years and third years, the teachers assign you topics and they ask you to talk about it in the class or do a small PPT about it in the class. So whenever that happens, try to put in your 100% to that work what is assigned to you. That itself will help you in at least 3 to 4 places without your knowledge. It could be many things. Now, suppose in final year you randomly enter a quiz. You have not prepared for the quiz, but you could get a question for which you are being assigned to in your college, and you were the only one to answer about it. So like that, not just in examination, it is not for examination point of view. It also comes in practice also. We attend many seminars. We would have had heard our senior physicians, our senior practitioners talking to us, our teachers, mentors talking to us. When they're talking, it is important that we give at least a little bit of concentration to what they're talking, because many of the times what you practice is than the reading, what you have heard and what you have worked upon a lot many times come to your brain faster than you sitting and struggling upon it. So one thing is try not to mug up anything a lot, but apart from the shlokas in the first year, you have to, because that is the very essence of it. So once you start doing it, what is a by heart will finally start becoming a very easy task, like drinking water. Because you will start understanding the shabdas in the sutras very easily, that it will register in your mind very easily. If you read one shloka for the entire 6 months, then it is impossible to read 10 shlokas for your examination, right? So because your mind is new to it, your neurons should get used to it. So this is a major transition from one system of education to another system of education. At least keep hopefully, I hope that internal assessment comes back, because right now it is not there for the curriculum that is happening. At least even for internal assessment also, even if it is for 20 marks, whatever you're reading, read it completely. Okay, understand it completely and put all your efforts. So that is one simple thing that has helped me. So even in final year also, that is what we did. Not that from the first day to last day we sat with the books for 10 hours like that. It's not so. But from the beginning to the end, whatever we did it with full heart. So whether it might be talking on a topic, or doing some seminar, or doing some PPT, or doing a poster. So we have, in DG, when you go to DG, you have DG posters. You want to make assignments of making posters. So put your 100% in doing that poster. So without your knowledge, that a complete essence is getting into you. So ultimately, before the exams, that hard work is definitely there. So my thing is, if you do not have anything in your brain, you cannot write anything, right? So if you have to write something on the paper, it means that you have that thing in the mind. So that also again is an art. How you have to write. Okay, what are the topics to be focused on? Okay, so before the exams, definitely it used to be around 10 to 12 hours of continuous reading, especially for the final year UG. So minimum of 12 to 13 hours. But priorly, it was not like any fixed hours every day. It was nothing like that. It was just a continuous, regular exposure and the joy in learning. That's it.
Okay. Nice to know. Thank you so much. So today, I hope the students are enlightened with all your inputs and insights to Ayurveda. I hope they fall in love with Ayurveda and make sure that they learn Ayurveda very well and then flourish
I have
into
one simple question. If you're
good
if
life.
you can interact with the students, the very first question what you ask, I don't know if I have chosen the right science or not, or I'm confused, and I think I have taken the wrong path. I just want you to re-ask the same question to the students. At least if one kid says that, now I'm sure, so that will be the biggest achievement of today's session. So I just want your feedback for that.
Definitely, we'll ask our students to give the feedback and let you know. We are very happy and we look forward to hear more from you, Akka. Thank you so much. Students, I hope you have you are being benefited with this beautiful orientation program. I hope it will be of some use to you. Fall in love with Ayurveda, practice Ayurveda, value Ayurveda, and we have other orientation programs coming up. Uh, Please check Pramati Ayurveda Facebook page for further updates. And I would like to thank our speaker of today, Dr. Ranjani Deshpande, who happens to be a senior in the college also. So thank you so much, Akka, for being with us and you know just giving a wonderful insight to Ayurveda. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, one and
So
all.
thank you, Akshita. As I told before also, I really, really like to congratulate this good initiation. I'm very happy to see so many, active juniors coming up. Like it's your page, Pramati, and there is also one of Dr. Anagha's. She's coming up with the Satvam, I guess. So you guys are taking a very good initiation. This was not there priorly. Like honestly, when we were there, even we had no such ideas. Maybe because it was it was something like even more untouched piece maybe, and now there is even more better exposure to all of these online sessions and stuff. It's really good that students are having such great backups with them, that is giving them all, it's giving them true, authentic, and the complete piece of knowledge. So it will be like, I usually feel like in the class, if you go and teach a student of 50, among 50 might be 20 are listening to you and other 30 are in their own world. But what I
Correct.
feel is, when a student wants to look at this particular video, then it is out of his own will that he is looking into the session or the video. So then he'll at least put his full mind to listen to whatever is there in the video. So these are coming up as good alternatives to or almost equally potential online classrooms, as the institutions too. So I'm very happy, and I really wish Vishwa and you and your entire team of Pramati Ayurveda that you do lots and lots of good works, and
Thank you.
my
Thank you so much.
um, prayers and love and everything to you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you so
asking
much,
me
Akka.
to
Means a
be a
lot.
part of your phone.
Thank you so much, Akka. Means a lot. Uh, Hope we can, we all can join hands together to bring up this beautiful science and create awareness among people and the students of Ayurveda. Thank you so much, one and all. We'll keep you updated and posted about the next session. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.